Hey everyone, this is a quick market update, and of course we're going to start with Bitcoin. Last week we ended up losing the 30k level and we had a bit of a sell-off, but nothing really major, no capitulation, but it just showed signs of weakness, and we were about 2.5% down on the week. And as you can see, we are pretty much chopping around this area now for the past few days. On the weekly chart, nothing has really changed. We still have this structure, we still have higher highs, higher lows, and we're still at major resistance level around 31 to 32k. So we would look to flip this in order to have a proper bull market. Before we have this breakout, I would just consider the bull market on pause, or just the bull has fallen asleep somewhere on the road. If we jump on the daily chart, you'll be able to see that in the last few days we had this kind of a wedge forming, and today it looked like it's going to resolve to the upside and potentially we could test back this 30k level. However, it's becoming a very ugly candle on the daily, and I would say this wedge is completely invalidated for the moment. But even if it wasn't, this is like very small percentage move up or down. It's just 2% to the 30k level, so I don't think this is anything major. I would just consider this small chop bleed out, similar to what we had in this entire area for several months. So this is still like a base scenario that we could just trend downwards and maybe get to this spot around 28k, 27k, maybe if we get lucky, where I would personally be looking to buy some, but also I wouldn't be in a rush, because maybe we get an opportunity to buy even lower. And if on the lower time frames we start seeing bullishness back at these levels, so let's say we see something like this, so we have a breakdown to this level and maybe we reclaim the 100 daily moving average, and then we see some strength, I would be willing to add on the reclaim, because I do want to be prepared if we go lower, if we want to test out this area around here. But I do believe the higher probability area is somewhere around here, because again on the weekly you can see it lines up quite well also with the 200 weekly moving average around 27.2 currently where it's sitting. So anything in this area around 28-27k, I think a lot of people will be looking to buy at least some Bitcoin. But until then, pretty much no action on Bitcoin, and also very similar picture on Ethereum. The weekly, again, 1.5%, so a little bit better than Bitcoin, down last week, but again we're still holding structure. We're still at the same old level for the past since April. Pretty much we're stuck around this level, and on the daily it just doesn't really get more boring than this. You can see here the 100 moving average on the daily is starting to act as support, but it's also some confluence with this area around here. So it will be interesting if this thing actually holds. It's starting to curve a little bit downwards, but really these are just not major moves that I want to be trading on Ethereum. I would be looking, again, similar picture, maybe a capitulation down to like the 1700 or a potential breakout and a signal for a bull run above 2k. These are the two main scenarios for Ethereum. Everything in between is, for me, is just noise for the moment. There has been quite a few altcoins that have been popping, some of them really small cap, some of them a bit more major, but you'll see now, I want to show you some charts. You'll see that pretty much they all look suspicious if it's a breakout or something that I don't want to be trading right now, as Bitcoin is looking like this, very heavy and pretty much trending downwards. First one that stands out is optimism. As you can see, if you remember, I sold the remainders of my position here. I exited some profit, but now this is turning into kind of a breakout. But again, you can see on the daily, this week is just, it's giving me PTSD. It's really difficult to trade these breakouts, especially in this continuation of a bear trend and potentially the switch to a bull trend. But yeah, this chart definitely looks strong. It's been holding higher highs, higher lows. Technically, we have a breakout if this closes on the daily above this level, but I wouldn't really trust it, because there are so many fake out breakouts that I wouldn't want to blindly buy into this. And imagine if you bought this and you saw yourself in like 10% profit and now you're back at break even. Not a great feeling. And although this is a good setup, you know, just like around 15% risk to this level, I still wouldn't want to take it. If we get a washout, OP is definitely one that I'm monitoring closely. A couple of reasons. Obviously, this is a layer 2. I already had a position, but it's been outperforming Arbitrum, which we're also going to look at. And also, Coinbase's base layer 2 solution is pretty much using tech from Optimism. So there's another factor here that could potentially spark more interest into Optimism. And as you can see, compared to on the weekly with Arbitrum, the last 3 weeks, Arbitrum has been primarily flat, I would say, if we take these 3 weeks, and Optimism has been on a pretty much tear from this trend line support here, and it just ripped much higher. Pepe is one also that I'm watching closely. I've shared with you my thesis here, but I do believe this will be the main meme coin. Currently, it has broken down and it has confirmed this level as resistance, and currently we're in the middle of nowhere. Pretty much the levels that I'm looking at are at this around 0.0001 and potentially even a little bit lower around 0.9 here. So anything in this area, especially if it's a capitulation, I'll be looking to start accumulating some Pepe as my main meme coin play for a potential bull run. And honestly, if we do this and if we chop around, this will definitely look more like a accumulation play and a reaccumulation. You know, after the first pump that we had, usually this is what you want to see if you want to see continued momentum, because otherwise the pump and dumps, what they usually do is they just pump and then you see a few candles like this, and we're back to these levels where it initially broke out of. This is not like this. This chart definitely looks a lot better. Currently we still have bearish structure on the lower time frames, but if we get to these levels, definitely for me, this would be an accumulation play. Another one that I was looking into was Comp. Again, this had a couple of fake out breakouts already. Very ugly stuff. If we go on to the weekly, you'll see that we have this very actually clear accumulation range for Comp. This is one of the OG projects in DeFi. And as you can see, we had a big pump from this reclaim here back in the range. And then we had quite an ugly few weeks here around this resistance turned support, turned resistance, turned support, turned resistance again. And right now this candle on the daily is again very, very ugly. Another one that I'm looking into is Solana. This has also shown relative strength and it's forming this beautiful accumulation. So definitely if this keeps the momentum and if it keeps chopping and if it just doesn't shit the bed completely, potentially for a breakout and even a dip buy actually, Solana is back in play in my opinion. They have recovered quite significantly from all the FTX drama, and they have a pretty strong community. So I'm not completely disregarding, although usually it's not a preferred token that I want to trade because of the market cap. It's like top 10 crypto already, and the potential for another 20 to 30x on this one, I think it's much lower compared to newer projects. But still, if you're into buying larger caps, I think Solana is not one to be disregarded because of the strength that it has shown compared to many other coins. WORLDCOIN is another new project that came out. It's a very controversial project. Honestly, they're trying to scan your retina and give you crypto in return. Not something that I want to be doing, but it seems like most of the liquidity is currently held by the market makers and they're pretty much holding this token up. I haven't really read that much into the tokenomics, but I think this one is just one to monitor and watch because it's one of the newer coins. It's created by the creator of ChatGPT, and this also gives a little bit more hype to the project. And at 250 million market cap currently, with a huge number of the tokens still not unlocked. It's a 50-50 one, but I would just be monitoring. I'm not really interested to accumulate this, especially at this stage. But potentially, if we get a long time accumulation and a potential breakout and a few more listings on reputable exchanges, I wouldn't mind trading this because I do see some potential for this to play out in the long term. Another one that I'm gonna be talking a lot more probably later this week is UNIBOT. You've probably heard about the whole hype cycle that we're in right now with Telegram trading bots. This one is the biggest one. I recently looked into the papers and everything, and it seems like a very interesting model, and it's trading very interestingly. It already has done multiple X's from its accumulation. This trading history here, this chart history is not the full one. They changed the contract, so this is the day that they changed the contract. But they have a pretty significant revenue sharing. Their features are actually quite good. So, maybe if this dumps more, I would definitely be looking to buy some. I need to look into it a little bit more. Also, the community behind it looks strong. They're launching an app and all the other things that I'm going to be talking more in detail later this week. But definitely one that it's not to be underestimated. It's a brand new narrative in crypto, and one that I'm currently watching in tier 1 watch list because I do believe they have a solid case. There are a bunch of other tokens and a bunch of other bots, which I will also be looking into in some of them. But this for me is the clear winner right now, and currently it's a little bit overvalued. It shot up to like $160 million market cap, but now it seems like it's consolidating, and same thing applies that I said with Pepe. This is not clearly a pump and dump, and they do have a business case, and if we see some accumulation again, that would be a very interesting play for an upcoming bull cycle. This is everything for this video, guys, and if you have any questions, you know how to find me.